It will happen when the powers that be deem it appropriate. And if BlackRock really, really wants it to happen, it'll happen. Because I think they have a bigger stick. I think they do have a bigger stick than the current chairman. I mean, I think it's highly unlikely before the election, because the current guy was appointed by the current administration.
Right.
And so he's going to do what he has to do to stay. Now, if the administration were to change in November, how quickly would they replace, the SEC chairman? Probably pretty quickly.
According to recent reports, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is using the merge the final phase of Ethereum transition to proof-of-stake consensus to reclassify the leading altcoin as a security. The agency has reportedly issued subpoenas to 3 well-known crypto companies, asking for records about the Ethereum Foundation. According to a recent Fortune report, the investigation into the foundation could give the SEC regulatory coverage to define Ethereum as a security and possibly make it easier to deny the spot Ethereum ETF applications from BlackRock and others. The foundation has also revealed via GitHub that it may be under investigation by a state authority. This is coming amid declining sentiments that the agency will approve the spot Ethereum applications by the May 23 deadline, as it did for the spot Bitcoin ETFs on January 10. According to Eric Beltunis and James Safe RT Bloomberg ETF analysts, the chances of spot Ethereum ETF approvals are now down to 25%. In a post on X last week, Eric noted that the SEC is not as active with the ETH ETFs as it was with the Bitcoin ETFs last year. We are just 2 months from the deadline. But the agency is not meeting with the applicants or asking related questions as it did with the Bitcoin ETFs. Despite the odds piling against the ETH ETF applications, Morgan Creek Capital founder and CEO Mark Yusko believes there is still a good chance we will get the approvals. However, like the Bloomberg ETF analysts, Yusko is not particularly optimistic about the May deadline. Instead, he believes the approvals will be announced after the November elections. We will now bring you clips from Yusko's recent interview with Paul Barron.
Definitely FUD. Definitely fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That is how the incumbents deal with technological innovation, right? So blockchains are the future of computing, full stop. And now we have Bitcoin ETFs, and they're part of the culture of the future of financial services.
For sure.
So now next up is Ethereum. So that's a long-winded way of saying it's FUD, it's expected, and the reality is the courts forced the SEC and Chairman Gensler to approve the Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah.
There has been no such court ruling, no such lawsuit to force his hand on Ethereum.
Right.
Therefore, he can do all of this, FUD campaign to make people afraid that it's not going to happen. And as we all know, people will buy the rumor, whatever that rumor is, whether it's new technology adoption, whether it's new chips, whether it's new products, and then some of them will sell the news. And so you'll get this run up in price, and then if it doesn't happen, or it does happen, they'll sell out of fear. If it doesn't happen, they'll sell out of, I'm going to take my profits if it does. And we saw that after the Bitcoin ETFs, and then they went back up, and now there's been some, downside pressure. Ethereum ran along with it, got all the way up over $5,000 and, or $4,000, sorry. And now, bam, back down again.
As expected, Eric and James have been getting a lot of flack from Ethereum investors due to their pessimism about the ETF approvals in response to an ETH investor questioning their credibility as a result of their latest comments on the ETS. Eric wrote, "Our credibility is what drives our predictions. It isn't rooted in being a Bitcoin lover or Ethereum hater. Personally, we 100% think the SEC should approve it. It's simply wanting to get it right, which we have a decent record of. And right now, it ain't looking good. I'm sorry. In another post, Eric noted that the odds would instantly improve if the SEC's attitude changed. The post reads, "If the SEC gave comments, our odds would at least double, maybe even triple from the current 25%, depending on who or what comments. But it is hard to imagine them leaving themselves and issuers less than 2 months for comments, fixes, etc. The circumstantial evidence backing up why they may not be giving comments. But prepping denial is also stronger here than it was with the Bitcoin ETS." He noted further in the post that there is no lawsuit forcing the agency to approve the ETS, and Gensler has changed his mind about Ethereum being a commodity. In his interview with Baron Jusko, points out an important part of the equation that can quickly tip the scales for the largest altcoin, BlackRock. The world's largest asset manager is one of the applicants. In addition, BlackRock just launched its first tokenized fund on the Ethereum blockchain, and it has seeded the project with $100 million according to Jusko. These are all signs that spot Ethereum ETFs are inevitable.
BlackRock is going to do what BlackRock is going to do.
Yeah.
They are the largest asset manager in the world. I told people for a year that there was no question in my mind. As soon as they announced they were going after the Bitcoin ETF, not only was it going to get approved, they were going to be first. Right. Now, they decided to crown them all at the same time, but and look, Bitcoin has, BlackRock has applied for an ETF in Ethereum as well. I think the challenge now is who has the bigger, stick, shall we say. Everything is political. Appointments of these, unelected people are by the current administration that happens to appoint them. It happens to be an election year. Look, Ms. Warren is pretty anti all of this. Why? Well, my thesis, I won't put words in her mouth, but my thesis is, you look at her largest campaign contributors, they happen to be large financial institutions that have a great deal at stake if they are disrupted. So it's not surprising to me that she would craft legislation to slow down the disruptive technology. Okay, the fact that it's an election year and that she's, show me who said it, show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome. That is the way the world has always worked.
The BlackRock Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund, unveiled on Wednesday, is BlackRock's first tokenized asset fund and the asset management giant's first sojourn into real-world asset tokenization, according to BlackRock's press release. The Boodle token is fully backed by cash U.S. Treasury bills and repurchase agreements, and will provide yield paid out via blockchain rails every day to token holders. BlackRock said it will be working with Securitize, which will act as a transfer agent and tokenization platform, and being Widemelon, which will custody the fund's assets. Other participants are Coinbase Fireblocks, Anchorage Digital Bank, and BitGo. The tokenization of real-world assets, such as bonds and funds, is a rapidly developing industry that is intertwining traditional finance players like BlackRock and the digital assets industry. The industry is growing at such a rapid pace and is estimated to hit over $16 trillion by 2030.